Thank you, Dr. Madhu, for the very kind words, and good morning, everyone. So I'll be talking about how to go about DALC in beginners. I have no financial interest in this talk. Are my slides visible?
Yes, Soham, they're quite visible. You can go ahead.
Okay. So DALC, as a beginner surgeon, it's always intimidating because it has a steep learning curve, so many techniques to learn and master with some unique complications. So before going on to the OT, it's highly recommended that you do some wet labs, watch plenty of videos, and if possible, spend some time with some seniors or mentors who are already doing the surgery. And what will be the ideal case to begin with? So choose someone who has a less than 660 vision so that the post-op improvement is appreciated by the patient. That's very important. Pick someone with advanced keratoconus with poor contact lens fitting, preferably under general anesthesia. These cases initially tend to be quite long, more than an hour, and you don't want the patient getting jittery on the operation table. So preferably under general anesthesia. Have backup optical tissue if you do not have an eye bank of your own, because anytime you need to convert and you might see that you are stuck with some low quality tissue. So it's always better to have a optical grade tissue as a backup on table. And if it's the first few cases, make sure your assistants know that you're going to do DALC, so all the instruments are ready. And for very first few cases, it's better to avoid these post-hydrops eyes and eyes with severe VKC and complications of VKC. And also very important, when you're preoperatively counseling the patient, don't commit to DALC or promise DALC. So I still usually write DALC oblique PK because there's always that 5-10% chance that you might need to convert on tape. So coming to manual DALC, so it's the outcomes really, if you look at it, if you have reached a residual stromal depth of less than 80 microns, the visual outcomes are comparable to that of big bubble DALC. And actually, in fact, it is the preferred technique where you have previous hydrops and very dense scars, or in cases of failed big bubble attempts where you have to convert to a manual technique. So before going on the investigations, most important here is a thickness map, which you can have either with the anterior segment OCT or with your tomography device. Additionally, specular counts always helps so that you know how long, have an idea of how long the graft will go on for. Clinical photography for your documentation purpose. Instruments, few instruments that you need specifically are, now you have these guarded depth trefines from Madhu Instruments, and also if you have access to a Baron Hesburgh trefine, nothing like that. Similarly, with guarded blades, you can have fixed guarded blades, or you can use the various diamond blades with variable depth adjustments for making the incision. Otherwise, you need a set of good blunt scissors and blunt dissectors, and maybe have a portable pachymeter in the OT. So the various techniques, there's the layer by layer dissection, which I shall be showing in subsequent videos. Then there is Millie's air assisted technique, where the depth is sort of judged by injecting an air bubble. And then there is the Archila technique, where the corneal stroma is insufflated with air, so the dissection depth is made more clear. So coming to the first video here. So this is a case of advanced keratoconus with previous hydrops. Look at the dense scar obscuring the pupil. And we start by, this is one of my very few cases, in fact. So start with the measurement and marking. Then I put a flaring ring in anticipation of probable perforation and a partial definition. I mean, using a simple handheld refine. And then the groove is deepened with crescent blade. And I'm using a groove and dissect technique. So where I do not touch the central cornea, so I make a groove using blunt scissor dissection along the trefine margin where the cornea is relatively thicker. So there is a margin of error over there. So go around making a 1.5 to 2 millimeter wide groove, and the depth is sort of judged by the eye. And this is just a blunt dissection technique. The scissors I'm using, this is a peritomy scissors, which I'm very comfortable with somehow. So you can use this, any corneal scissors, anything which has got a blunt tip, that is most important. So you do not want the an inadvertent corneal perforation. And make sure whenever you're doing any step of dissection or the snipping action, make sure that the blades are as horizontal as possible. So sometimes after one round of the groove, if you are not happy with the depth, go and make the groove, like go in a spiral fashion and sort of do a groove the second time. So here you can see the two layers, the superficial layer which I did initially, and now the deeper layer which I'm doing. So the corneal, the iris depths of the underlying from where the stromal residue, that sort of gives you an idea of how deep you have gone. And once the groove is complete, it's a matter of stromal separation. This is using an iris spatula. So no sharp instruments to be used in the central cornea. Just lift up the edge, and when you can see the stromal fibers, gently separate them with using a blunt dissector like this. And here you can see the shiny reflex of the Descemet's or the pre-Descemet's layer in the central part. So that is a satisfactory endpoint for this surgery. And any peripheral tissue that you are unhappy with can be dissected at this point of time. However, it does not matter much in the long run. Even if you have maybe 100 microns in the periphery, the clinical outcomes doesn't really change as long as your central 5 millimeters are really well dissected. Graft preparation, you stain with trypan blue and gently peel off the DM endothelium complex. This is quite similar to how you would do a DMEC graft preparation. And then for suturing, I prefer an interrupted technique with 10-0 nylon sutures. And then that's the end of the surgery. You can check with the keratoscope to see if there are any astigmatism adjustment to be done. So this is at day 3. You can see the residual stroma is almost as thick as the epithelium. So you know it will be somewhere around 50 microns to 70, 80 microns. This is quite satisfactory. This is a second case, again, very advanced keratoconus with extremely thin corneas. Just look at the K reading also of more than 90. So again, begin with partial trephination and making a small stromal pocket, which will now be extended using the groove technique with the scissors. Sorry about that. So the safety of this technique is this: so you're not at all going anywhere near the thinner parts of the cornea, and everything is essentially a blunt dissection. And the beauty again is here you're not entering the AC. So this is just a completely extraocular procedure. So in terms of the infection part of it, intraocular infection part of it, again, that little bit safety is maintained. So here we have gone one round and we are continuing the groove after the first round. And once the good depth is achieved, remove the central part using blunt dissection with the iris spatula. So look at this. This is you're stretching the stromal fibers and you're just gently sort of disinserting those fibers from the underlying bed. And again, this change in reflex to a more shiny, that indicates that you have reached close to the Descemet's membrane. So as tempting as it might be, sometimes it is better to leave behind some of these residual fibers, because trying to be perfect sometimes lands you with more complications. Again, similar interrupted 10-0 nylon sutures to secure the graft in place. And this is at day 10 post-op. You can look at the almost the entirety, the residual stroma is about 60 to 80 microns, whereas the central part, we have come close to the pre-Descemet's layer. So the take-home message is, go slow with your first few surgeries. Don't be greedy or be tempted to remove entirety of the stromal bed, because a few microns of residual stroma is better than a perforated DM. And ideally possible, do a lot of wet lab and observe some of the senior surgeons before you begin. Thank you for your kind attention.